What is going on, you guys? Sports Renzo Diesel's back at you here with another episode. Obviously, to talk about the NFL Super Wild Card Weekend. 6 games to talk about. I'm not going to go into crazy detail because then the video gets too long and then you guys are snoring on me. With that being said, let's get down to business here. Bills against the Colts. Bills win 27-24 in a tightly contested game late in the ball game here. Their first playoff win since 1995. Phillip Rivers played great in this ball game, over 309 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 450 total yards of offense by the Indianapolis Colts, 0 turnovers. Guess what? They're one of 11 teams in NFL playoff history to have those numbers. 450 total yards of offense, 0 turnovers, and lose the ballgame. They're the first team to do that in NFL playoff history. The other 10 teams to do those numbers won the game. 10-0 up until Sunday when the Colts lost to the Buffalo Bills. Too much Josh Allen, too much Stephon Diggs. I know what you guys are thinking. I know. I'm wearing the wrong jersey colors for Stephon Diggs. I understand that completely because it's been the Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs show in Buffalo. 6 catches, 128 yards, and a touchdown. Obviously, we can't forget Josh Allen because 2 passing touchdowns. He also rushed for a touchdown as well. Too much Buffalo in the long run, and that Buffalo Bills defense held up at the end of the ball game. Next game, Rams against the Seahawks here. The Rams win 30-20 over the Seattle Seahawks here. This is the Seattle Seahawks' 3rd home playoff loss. And guess what? It's the 2nd time they've lost at home in the playoffs to the Los Angeles Rams. Now, when I talk about the Seattle Seahawks here, we're talking about Russell Wilson, 11 of 27, 174 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Now we all knew about the big matchup between DK Metcalf and Jalen Ramsey. DK Metcalf looked pretty good, 5 catches, 96 yards, 2 touchdowns. But the Seahawks have had a bit of trouble in recent history against the Los Angeles Rams. Now, when the Seahawks play the Los Angeles Rams, they only average 18 points a game, only 300 yards a game, 300 total yards of offense a game, and only 186 passing yards. And they give up over 5 sacks a game when they play the Los Angeles Rams. When they play everyone else, they average 30 points a game, 377 total yards, over 250 passing yards, and they only give up just under 3 sacks a game. So you can tell the Rams had the Seahawks number in years past here. And also, by the way, the Rams are 37-0 when leading at halftime since 2017. That is also including the playoffs. No other team has done that. So, with that being said, Jared Goff barely threw the football, 9 of 19, 55 yards, and a touchdown. The story was the run game of the Los Angeles Rams as Cam Akers, the rookie, goes off. 28 carries, 131 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, the run game set the tone for the Rams, and it obviously sets up that play-action pass that Jared Goff and Sean McVay love to go to when the running game is good. And then there's not enough that can be said about the Rams defense and how well they play against Russell Wilson. They shut him down as usual, and that's why you see the Rams win 30-20. Up next, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers up against the Washington football team here. Tampa Bay holds off Washington 31-23 here. But I'm not even going to talk about Tom Brady. I'm going to be talking about the 3rd-string quarterback for the Washington football team, Heineke, who obviously has a very bright and promising future here in the NFL. 26 of 44, 306 yards, a touchdown, 1 interception. He also rushed for a touchdown as well. A very impressive showing by this 3rd-string quarterback as he was filling in for Alex Smith. I love what I saw out of Heineke here, and I believe this guy has a future down the road in the NFL if he continues to. He was making smart decisions, not turning over the football. Yes, I know the interception. Yeah, that Tampa Bay's got a good defense too. Let's not forget that. But he made good, smart throwing decisions, and he tried to keep his team in the ballgame by trying to put up points. It just wasn't enough against Tampa Bay because we all know who Tampa Bay has with Brady and company, with Antonio Brown, Gronkowski. The list goes on and on. I'm done talking about Tampa Bay. We're moving on to the next game. The Ravens versus the Titans, and Lamar Jackson finally gets off the schneid here and wins his first playoff game after starting off his NFL career 0-2 in the playoffs. Buffalo is 6-0 in wild card road games, and Lamar Jackson's all the story you need to talk about here. 17-24, 179 yards. Yeah, we know he threw the interception, but it didn't matter because his running ability changed the momentum of this ball game. 16 carries, 136 yards, and a touchdown. And we have a lot to talk about because Mike Vrabel's decision not to go for it on 4th and 2 in Ravens territory is the big story. I know there was like 4+ minutes left in the ball game, and their defense was holding them up somewhat. But it's like, man, you can't give Baltimore that chance. You have to go for it on 4th and 2. And plus with Derrick Henry, you just never know what you're going to get with Derrick Henry. Now, Derrick Henry did not have the best of playoff games here. 18 carries, 40 yards. And the only problem with this is that 11 of those 18 carries, Derrick Henry was getting hit in the backfield. So Mike Vrabel's decision to not run the football or to not go for it on 4th and 2, that was a key factor in him making that decision because Baltimore just kept hitting him behind the line of scrimmage and they could not get anywhere on the ground. And to set up play action passes with A.J. Brown and Corey Davis and company, it just wasn't the way that the Tennessee Titans drew it up. And you give Baltimore Ravens defense a lot of credit, and then Marcus Peters with the icing on the cake with the interception late in the fourth quarter to seal the game. And the whole dancing on the logo, I tell you right now, these two teams play each other next season. There's going to be some bad blood in the water because these two teams hate each other, and it's been turning into a rivalry the last 2 or 3 years because, honestly, Lamar Jackson keeps playing them in the playoffs. But here we go. Ravens win 20-13. Very happy for Lamar Jackson, but Baltimore is the most dangerous team in the AFC. Forget Kansas City. Who's the most dangerous threat to Kansas City in that 1 seed? The Baltimore Ravens. And who do the Baltimore Ravens play? They play the Buffalo Bills in the divisional round week, but we will get to those games in a few moments here. Obviously, Bears versus the Saints. Saints win very handily here, 21-9. Obviously, since Mitchell Trubisky has come back for the Chicago Bears have averaged over 30 points a game. They've been lighting it up on the scoreboard. David Montgomery, their running back, has had big monster games in the last 5-6 weeks of the regular season. Not against the New Orleans Saints, who have a world-class defense like the Rams. And I mean, what else can I talk about here other than Trubisky struggled? Montgomery definitely struggled. 12 carries, 31 yards. And, Drew Brees does his usual thing, throws for 265, 2 passing touchdowns. Alvin Kamara, 23 carries, 99 yards, a touchdown. The dynamic running back he is. He only had 2 catches in the ball game, but a very easy win for the New Orleans Saints here as they cruise right by the Bears, 21-9. And last but not least, our Sunday nightcap game, the Cleveland Browns against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Cleveland Browns, first playoff 1994 here as they went 48-37, coming off of a monster first quarter here, 28-0. And of course, you knew it wasn't a good start for the Pittsburgh Steelers when the first play for Pittsburgh goes over Ben Roethlisberger's head. Cleveland recovers it for a touchdown. That's not the way to start an NFL playoff game as well as the start of the NFL playoffs. That's not the way you want to start a ball game. And the last time we saw a start like that, the Seattle Seahawks, the Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl, first play right over Peyton Manning's head. Seattle recovers, Denver recovers in the end zone. Safety. That's not how you want to start a game, and it set the tone for the rest of the ball game. Cleveland picks off Ben Roethlisberger 4 times, even though Ben Roethlisberger threw for over 500 yards. Well, he had no choice but to throw the football because this team does not have a ground game. James Conner, 11 carries, 37 yards, and a touchdown. But with that being said, this Pittsburgh team needs to find their identity. They do not have a physical identity anymore. Defensively, the identity is somewhat there. But when you start up a game like that, there is no identity, and it kind of like takes the wind out of not just the whole team sails, but the whole entire organization as a whole and the fan base, because when you start a game like that, forget it. Baker Mayfield, a phenomenal game, 21 of 34, 263, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, no fumbles. Chubb and Kareem Hunt, just too much of them. 26 carries, 124 yards, 2 touchdowns combined, and then they combined for 5 receptions, 82 yards, and a touchdown. They combined for over 200 scrimmage yards, 3 touchdowns, just too much of them too, and they're going to need those two to be ready to go, because who do they play in the divisional round? They play the Kansas City Chiefs. So let's get to the divisional round matchups here. We obviously got the Rams versus the Packers. Now, don't sleep on this Rams defense now. They have every ability to shut down not only Aaron Rodgers, but Jalen Ramsey has a big job in trying to shut down Davante Adams. We will see how that matchup plays out. It's not that Jalen Ramsey, I mean, let's be real. Jalen Ramsey got cooked a couple times against DK Metcalf, but at the same time, though, he does have the opportunity to shut down Davante Adams, and I believe he can shut down Davante Adams. It's just, how is the game going to play out? How physical is that? And honestly, the Rams defense has world-class players at all 3 levels. Linebacker, you'd obviously know about Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, but they got some great linebackers there in the middle that do a fantastic job of shutting down the run and staying in the zone and staying in zone defense and keeping these teams and keeping these offenses honest. I believe that game will be close between the Packers and the Rams. I still think Aaron Rodgers, though, he's on another level right now. He's in an MVP level, but against an all-world defense, we'll see how it goes. Second game, Saturday night at 8:15, the Ravens versus the Bills. We obviously got the most dangerous team in Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens against Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and company in the Buffalo Bills. We got 2 good offenses. We got 2 good defenses. This is going to probably, whoever wins this matchup, I don't want to go against Baltimore, but Buffalo's got a good team, man. Buffalo's offense has been going like nuts here. Obviously, they lose Zach Moss. They're running back to an ankle injury. I do not remember the player they just acquired. I believe it was Devontae Freeman, who was, I think the Giants waived him earlier on in the year, and the Buffalo Bills just picked him up. So they just added on Devontae Freeman because they lose Zach Moss. I think it was to a high ankle sprain, and he's out for the rest of the playoffs. So my pick in this game, obviously, I'm going to pick the first game, Rams-Packers. Based on what I've seen, I have to go with Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. I just think he's just playing that he's got that team playing on another level right now. And then Ravens against the Bills, I got to go Baltimore. I can't go against Baltimore now because it's just Baltimore is the most dangerous team. And if Lamar Jackson gets going like he did in the game against the Titans, you can forget it. There's no chance at all that the Buffalo Bills will have. But don't count out Buffalo with Josh Allen, how dynamic Josh Allen is throwing the football, as well as his running ability. Don't count them out. But it's got both of these first 2 games on Saturday are going to be very close games. Very, very close games. So, starting off Sunday afternoon at 3:05 p.m., we have the Cleveland Browns up against the Chiefs. You obviously know I'm going to pick the Chiefs. My heart is rooting for Cleveland. My mind knows Kansas City is going to win this ball game because Cleveland, to me, just doesn't have a great defense to slow down that world-class offense in the Kansas City Chiefs with Kelsey, Tyreek Hill. The only way Kansas City doesn't get it to the Super Bowl is if Mahomes gets hurt, Kelsey gets hurt, and Tyreek Hill gets hurt. One of those 3 players gets hurt. Knock on wood. Hopefully that we don't see that happen, but I do pick the Kansas City Chiefs to win this ball game. This is going to be a high-scoring affair. I do believe this is going to be a high-scoring affair. You see what Cleveland did against the Pittsburgh Steelers in a good defense. The Chiefs the Chiefs' defense is better than what it has been recently in the past for them, but it's not as good doesn't have the potential like the Pittsburgh defense does physically. So I'm going to pick the Chiefs, but that's going to be another close game. And then last but not least, the Buccaneers versus the Saints. This is the third time these two teams have played against each other. We obviously know New Orleans won the season series. We obviously know about the blowout win, the 38-3 blowout win against Tampa Bay in their home spot. But I'm going to be real. I don't want to go up against Tom Brady. When it comes to Tom Brady in the playoffs, it's all about winning playoff games. It's all about winning rings. This guy can get it done, but you got Cameron Jordan. You got Marshawn Lattimore on the other side in that defense. You got a lot of good players on that defense. And then their defense, the Tampa Bay's defense is young and upcoming. It's not the best defense. It's a good defense, but you're going up against Drew Brees, Michael Thomas. Oh, wait, there's Alvin Kamara. You know, there's a lot. And then, oh, wait, there's Emmanuel Sanders. You know, so it's what defense. Really, the story in all four of these divisional matchup games is what defense is going to show up and play some physical football. What team is going to dominate on the defensive side of the football? That's what's going to decide the outcomes of these games. Because really in playoffs, in the regular season, you know, it's really offenses blow out other teams. In the playoffs, it's a possession-by-possession game, and it's time management, clock management. That all plays a factor in the playoffs. And that's why I have the Packers. I want to pick the Buccaneers. I really do. But the Saints have their number. And I do believe this is the Saints year that they could make it to the Super Bowl. So I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm going to be wrong because the Saints have just had Tom Brady's number and Tampa Bay's number this year. No matter how good or how many players Tom Brady gets on that offense, I still pick the New Orleans Saints. With that being said, thank you guys so much for your time. Obviously, stay tuned for more upcoming news. Obviously, you know, there's a lot to talk about in the NBA in the first 10 games of the regular season. I will get to videos like that very, very soon. Thank you guys again so much for your time. Please leave a like and subscribe because majority of you guys know you guys don't like or subscribe to my channel. And I would like you guys to, if you guys want to have and listen to more sports content outside of ESPN and company. Thank you guys again so much for your time. I will see you guys all in the next one. Deuces.